Hello, my name is Dr. Gerald Hill. I'm the superintendent of the West Bloomfield School District, here with a special update for our community on everything going on during this ongoing coronavirus emergency closure of schools. First of all, our top priorities during the closure are our students' safety, their mental health, and their learning needs. Partnering with families across the district, we will do whatever it takes to support students during these challenging times. In order to accomplish this, district staff members have put in countless hours preparing and planning the best ways to transition their instruction from classroom to the cloud. And I'm so very proud of the way that everybody on Team WB put our 4 C's, communication, collaboration, critical thinking and creative problem solving, and contribution, into action during our Cloud Learning Initiative. It brought that program to life. More information on our Cloud Learning Initiative can be found at the wbsd.org/cloudlearning website. We are also committed to feeding children through the meal service program, which helps to feed children under the ages of 18, regardless of their city of residence. More information on the meal service program can be found at wbsd.org/mealservice. Hello, I'm Dr. Gerald Hill. To help better explain all of the online instruction taking place in our school district during this facility closure, I'm fortunate to be joined by Deanna Barish. She's the Assistant Superintendent for Teaching and Learning, and she will give us an update on our Cloud Learning Initiative. So Deanna, this has been unusual, challenging, unprecedented times. Why don't you tell us a little bit about our Cloud Learning Initiative?
Sounds perfect. Thank you, Dr. Hill. So about a week ago, we started to realize that we were going to be faced with a long-term closure, and we wanted to begin to have plans in place for our students from kindergarten through 12th grade, and so that learning can continue at home. So last Friday, we had all of our teachers report to our buildings where we began to start this Cloud Initiative for West Bloomfield schools. They are providing brand new instruction to all students kindergarten through 12th grade through our platform, which is Google Classroom. So parents would see Google Classroom at home, along with Google Docs and slides. And then our teachers are creating online lessons through Screencastify, and also just using their Google Hangouts and Meet and any other avenue they might find to deliver new instruction to our kids.
So let me ask you, how did this come about so quickly? It seems like one day we have school and then the next day we're online. What happened?
Well, we're fortunate in this district to have teachers that are innovative and willing to be creative and try new things. So as part of our district learning design team, who are really leading the charge around our portrait of a graduate in the 4 C's, we had a meeting last Wednesday, already on the books, just very advantageous with timing. And this group really took the lead to plan the agendas to help teachers get ready to move to an online platform. So within about 3 hours, that group had the agendas designed. We kind of developed our non-negotiables for what we expected, and we had a plan in place to close school on Friday. So it was really quite incredible.
So could you walk through, if I'm a parent of an elementary child, what am I experiencing and what should I be experiencing? What is my child experiencing?
Yes. Well, hopefully they're having a really good time learning differently at home, maybe at the kitchen table or somewhere in their living room, wherever their spot is. So if I'm an elementary student, we developed a schedule. We anticipate it taking students probably between 2 or 3 hours a day. So not nearly as many hours of instruction as when they're in the bricks and mortar building, but certainly really quality instruction. So they are spending time reading. They are spending time working on our math curriculum, which is Bridges, doing math games, moving forward in the instruction as well. They're writing, they're doing science, and they're doing social studies. There's a lot of real-world application things here, so we asked them to take a walk and do some observations and write about it. We asked them to reach out to a classmate via Google Hangout and have a conversation and document those sorts of things. So we also sent home, we had parents come to the buildings and collect packets of information throughout the week this week, and we've had an excellent turnout. So congratulations to our buildings, and thank you to the parents for taking time. So everybody received multiple books to take home to read during this time. They got some math games, they got some math manipulatives, they got a social studies book so they could continue their work. So it's really, quite honestly, instruction as usual, just in a very different format.
So what kind of communication takes place between the teacher and the students, and how does that happen?
So it kind of depends on the grade level, but in many cases the teachers have either videotaped themselves and posted that, including like morning message. If you have an elementary student, we know how important that time on the rug is in the morning, where they're going through the date and starting to do some of their early math things and checking in. As a Capturing Kids' Hearts district, we have always built in that we are talking about good things and every student has the opportunity to share. So our teachers created good things videos where they are asking kids to share with their moms and dads, hey, tell us one good thing that happened today, or what's going on with you. And then they're videotaping themselves and then sending it back to the teacher so that they can see that as well. There's also some live broadcast things happening. So the Google platform allows us to do Google Hangouts and Google Meet and to record them. So teachers can connect with the kids face to face and just do a quick check-in. Hey, how's it going? Are you struggling with anything? What can I do to help you? So we're doing it both recorded and live opportunities for communication. Our teachers have done an excellent job responding to email, making sure parents are getting online. I have seen multiple classrooms have 100% attendance, which is what we don't typically have when we have kids come into school, because parents are checking in and kids are doing the work. So we've been very pleased.
So do kids have a schedule? How flexible is this? Is it a rigid schedule? I've heard a little bit about the schedules from some parents, and I'm just curious how that works.
Sure. Every family is different, and so you have to find what works best for your family and that balance, particularly if you have multiple children at home and you're working. This is a whole new world for all of us, this work from home and have your kids home and try to get schoolwork done and still maintain your professional life. So every family needs to develop a schedule that works for them. I've seen a lot of samples. We have sent a sample home where there's built-in playtime, there's built-in exploration time, whether that's outside in the backyard or you're taking a bike ride or whatever those kinds of things may be, so that mom and dad have some time where they're not necessarily needing to sit right next to the student. Additionally, what we created was not meant to be something where mom and dad had to sit right next to the student in order for them to be successful. So we're flexible. We want you to find a nice balance for your family. We're there to support that. We just want learning to continue. So we are asking parents to log in every day, or the students to log in every day, to take attendance via Google form, answer a quick question, that's how we're taking attendance, and then create some sort of product by the end of the day. But our day really runs from whenever that child gets up and that family is ready until the end of that evening. So we recognize this is not a 9 to 3 or a 9 to 5. This is a situation that has to work for your family.
So in terms of grades and getting grades, are there assessments going on, and how does that work?
Sure. So today we had our very first high school assessment take place online, obviously open book, so they had the opportunity, but it's really about feedback. So the teachers are assessing the students, they're writing back to them. This happened to be a calculus class, so they had problems due, and the teacher is checking those problems and giving feedback along the way about mistakes they may have made, opportunities to go back and fix their work, and those kinds of things. We do want this to count for instruction, so we are recording progress along the way and feedback along the way. We are still, as a district, still contemplating what that's going to look like when we get to the end of the quarter, or certainly at the end of the semester. But we want parents and students to have an idea of how their students are progressing, so we are asking teachers to certainly give that feedback.
So you mentioned high school. I'm curious, what does it look like for a middle school or a high school student where you have multiple teachers?
Sure. So it looks very much like a typical school day. And actually, kudos to our staff as well. Google Classroom is something particularly our middle school and high school teachers have been using for quite some time. So this was not a real leap for our students or our staff. That's how we've been at least delivering supplemental instruction and certainly homework for a very long time. So this has been a much easier transition for our middle school and high school students and staff, because that's what we've been doing. So a student at the middle school would check in with every class period every single day, no differently than if they were walking into Abbott or Ohms on a Tuesday. They complete a Google form as part of the attendance in each hour related to whatever that curriculum happens to be. So if it's math, I might be doing a quick problem, or I might be responding to something I did the night before. And then I'm moving into whatever that new content might be. So we're moving forward with reading The Outsiders, and you're responding to questions, or you're videotaping a conversation, a chat that you're having with one of your friends. It is really business as usual. The same is true at the high school. And I saw some great feedback yesterday from one of the teachers, how much she enjoyed being able to interact with her students in a different way. They all were on Google Hangout. They could see each other. They were having conversation about the book they were reading. Really running a Socratic seminar, which is that questions and relating it back to the text. Even though they weren't face-to-face, they still were able to have that meaningful conversation.
And then we've had a few questions from people in terms of how are we providing services to special education students? Are we meeting the goals and objectives in their individual educational plans, for example?
I think that I couldn't be more excited about a group of teachers and ancillary staffs to step up and problem solve how we can make this happen for our students who have special learning needs. So, for instance, if I'm a student that has a specific learning disability who might have either a reduced amount of work to complete and or would have additional help when it came time for tests or for homework or those kinds of things, those teachers, no differently than what they do during the regular school day, are pushing in. They're a co-teacher on that class. The student has access to them just like they would in school. The curriculum, if needed, is being modified, so tests are being shortened or whatever that might mean for that particular student. And so the same is true for speech paths, who are providing speech services, and also for social workers who need to provide that direct service around their social work goals. They have devised a great plan that we have vetted with people within the industry who know that this is what needs to happen, that we are indeed providing the quality service and the number of minutes that we need to. You know, it's still a work in progress, certainly, but our teachers are doing a great job documenting what they're doing each and every single day for our students, and we have a very solid plan in place.
Then a final question has to do with this whole issue of equity. Not every home we know in our community has internet access, and what are we doing to service students who are in those homes?
Sure. So we have been fortunate in West Bloomfield to have a community that has supported one-to-one for a long time through the passage of a bond and making sure that that was a priority in our district. So every family, every student has access to a Chromebook to take home, so they're able to access all those programs we just talked about. So we want to thank our community for that, because that has certainly made this transition much easier. We also recognize, of course, that not every home has access to Wi-Fi and may struggle sometimes to find to be able to get on and be able to complete those assignments. So we've done a number of things. One has been, thanks to certainly community partners with Xfinity and Comcast, they've been able to push out their free platforms. So we've been able to share those resources with our community. Here's how you might access a hotspot. Here's how you might access a free internet at this point in time. But if that still is not reliable enough, or that is not something a family feels comfortable doing, we do have the ability to provide hotspots that the district has purchased that we can take as a first come, first served basis. We do have limited number. Certainly everyone in the country is facing this right now, so we were only able to get a finite number of hotspots, but if we have a family that is desperately in need, we're able to provide for that as well. And we're going to make accommodations and continue to monitor that throughout the whole situation.
And then we've been talking about the 4 C's in our Portrait of a Graduate for a couple of years now.
Sure.
Would you mind explaining how the adults in our system, the teachers and staff, are modeling or implementing the 4 C's?
Well, absolutely. So it started really when they all met last Friday, and there was a great sense of urgency that they knew that this was important to complete and that we had a product when they walked out of the door. So whether they were working in grade level teams or they were working in subject area teams, they collaborated with one another about what those outcomes needed to be. They communicated their thoughts and where they were within our pacing guides. They certainly contributed. Everyone worked the entire time. I cannot say enough positive things about our staff. Many stayed well past the end of the day on Friday to make sure that we had the best things in place for our students as well. And then, you know, obviously there's a lot of critical thinking that goes into this. How are we going to make this work? How do we make it accessible for students? How do we make sure that we have the resources uploaded and that everyone can access them? How many books do we need to send home? I mean, it was a huge undertaking for our teachers and our educators across the district, and they rose to the challenge. We would not be able to do this without the Herculean effort of all those people and that willingness to give of themselves and their times, because they know that we're doing what's best for kids.
And any final messages for all the students out there who may be watching this?
Well, certainly that we love you and we miss you, and we can't wait till we get to see you back at school, whenever that might be. And so, you know, we want you to know, both parents and community members, that if it is a struggle to be home, and this is a new sense of normal for all of us, and so that if you are struggling mentally, we're here for you. If you're struggling socially, we're used to we're social creatures, being with one another. If you need to reach out to your school counselor, you need to reach out to your principal, you need to reach out to us, we are here to support you. This is not just about academics. This certainly is about taking care of the whole child. So we don't want you to feel that we are not here for you. We encourage you to stay in touch with your friends, in touch with your teachers, and that we're going to get through this together, that this is a new normal. This is not what anybody expected to be doing in March, but that we're here for one another, and we're here for you, and we want you to be successful.
So that was a great explanation from Deanna, and we thank you for being with us. One of the things I would like to convey to everybody is that we do have a very dedicated and caring group of staff members. We partner very effectively with our community, and every decision we make is made in the best interest of children. And Deanna, thank you for your time and for all of your Herculean efforts during this whole process. Thank you.
Each of us have a role to play in stopping the spread of COVID-19. Keeping a distance of at least 6 feet
will slow the community spread of COVID-19. I can help.
I can help.
I can help by washing my hands.
Using warm water and soap for 20 seconds.
And drying my hands with paper towel multiple times throughout the day.
Be sure to cover your cough using your elbow.
In an effort to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Avoid touching your eyes, mouth, and nose.
Not feeling well?
Have a fever? A cough? Do your part and stay home until you are well again.
If your symptoms are more significant, call your doctor.
Don't drive to the emergency room or show up at your doctor's office.
Without an appointment, that can spread the virus.
In addition to social distancing, avoid crowds.
Even small groups of people can increase the risk of spreading COVID-19.
We know it's hard, but we all need to do our part to stop the spread.
You can get outside and enjoy the parks. There are plenty of trails that are open.
And provide plenty of space for social distancing.
You can call, text, or
chat with friends and loved ones.
Hi, Grandma.
You can put together a puzzle.
Or start your spring cleanup.
Or just catch up on Netflix.
We can all do our part to stop the spread of COVID-19.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Jerry Hill, Superintendent of the West Bloomfield School District. With me today is Kyle Anderson. He's the Assistant Superintendent of Business and Operations, and Kyle will give us an update on our meal service plan, our program, and our cleaning program during the time that our buildings have been closed due to this emergency closure. So Kyle, we often talk about teaching and learning, but there's a whole lot that goes on behind the scenes on a daily basis. Tell us a little bit about, during this time, we have students that need meals. How are they getting the meals, and how is that happening?
Thank you, Dr. Hill. So we are committed to providing meals to children during this new endeavor, this cloud-based learning initiative that's outside of the school building. And in fact, when the governor announced the closure, we quickly put a plan into place and began serving meals this last Monday. And so meals are served in 2 locations, the north end of our district and the south end. We have Orchard Lake Middle School and Roosevelt Elementary between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. daily. We prefer if families could order. There's a way to order meals online, but it's not necessary. These meals are free, and it's basically a curbside pickup.
So can what are the requirements? Any child can get a meal?
That's correct. Any child, you don't have to be a student at West Bloomfield. Just any child 18 years or younger are eligible, and these are free meals.
And then these are provided by our school district, but through the state and through the federal free lunch program?
Correct, you are correct. Yes.
Okay, so what kind of meals can we expect? Are they like sack lunches, or what are they?
So what we're doing, Dr. Hill, is if a family arrives today, for example, they would pick up lunch for today and breakfast for the next day. The lunch is a hot meal. It's good. I've had one. They're awesome. And in fact, starting Friday, we will provide meals for the entire weekend for families. So we've just added that feature, and it's the order form is on our website.
So I guess kudos really should go to our food service staff for stepping up to the plate so quickly. How did that happen?
So as I said, once the governor put the order out to close schools, we quickly mobilized, and working with our food service partner Airmark and all the food service staff, and also teaching and learning, we developed this plan in conjunction with passing out instructional materials and Chromebooks, and it came together quite nicely. We're very proud of it. We've served for the first 2 days, we're on day 3 today, over 1,100 meals.
Wow.
So we're very proud of it.
That's great. So now beyond meals, I know that you're also responsible for all the facilities in our school district. And so without children there on a daily basis, what are we doing in terms of our facilities?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we're taking this opportunity to deep clean our facilities, all of our classrooms, paying particular attention to high touch areas. We're following all the recommendations from the CDC and our local health department officials to be sure, and our plan is that our children will return to school on April 6th. That has yet to be determined, but that's the operating assumption that we're working under right now. And we're also taking the opportunity to complete some projects that normally you cannot while children are in school. Those are things like maintenance to our HVAC systems, buffing and floor maintenance, and some painting. Mm-hmm. So we're keeping our staff busy and actually creating some time to do this.
Yeah.
To do this work.
Speaking of staff, can you talk a little bit about how they're feeling and how they're coping with this? Everybody's going through this crisis in a little different manner. What's been your observations along those lines?
Yeah, I couldn't be prouder of our staff. This is a tight-knit community, and everyone's pulling together, pulling their weight. They're calm, no one's panicking, and they're just rolling up their sleeves and working, and it's been awesome.
Mm-hmm. Are there any final messages you might have for community members regarding working through this as a team?
Yeah, I would just continue to monitor our communications. I think we've done a good job of communicating through our website and through School Messenger. As the situation evolves and it's very fluid, we will continue to work our plan. We have plans to continue the meal service through the closure by the governor, and if need be, expand it.
We'd like to thank Kyle today for bringing us the very important information, not only about food service, about what we're doing on a daily basis to keep our facilities clean and welcoming back when we do have students to welcome back to them. Thank you again, Kyle, and we look forward to a time when we can have all the students here. But in the meantime, the cooperation that we've seen, the self-sacrifice from employees, yes, and the cooperation with the community has been spectacular. And we look forward to a successful reopening whenever that does occur. Thank you.
The West Bloomfield Megacast is live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon, where our own Dave Scott talks with locals ranging from business owners to municipal personalities. To tune into the Megacast, listen on 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com, or watch on Comcast Channel 15, AT&T Channel 99, and on the web at civiccentertv.com, keeping you connected in West Bloomfield during the coronavirus outbreak.
We cannot thank our families and staff members enough for the cooperation, self-sacrifice, and dedication to our students and their education displayed across our district today. The outstanding work by our staff members truly exemplifies our 4 C's and demonstrates our portrait of a graduate in action by students and adults alike. We will continue to communicate and share updates with you via email, our website, and social media in the days ahead. Please check wbsd.org/cloudlearning for updates, as well as wbsd.org/COVID-19 for additional resources. Thank you, Team WB.